Welcome to Comfort TV, the channel news, bringing you verified and balanced news from Nigeria and around the world. My name is Faith Kevin. Thank you for joining us again this morning. In the headlines, IPOB questions legal basis of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's ruling. Nigeria hit by second school abduction in less than a week. President Tinubu reaffirms commitment to child development. Former President Jonathan says Nigeria's democracy is being suffocated, calls for responsible politics. Senate Security Committee pledges renewed action to restore peace in the southeast. On business, CBN urges Nigerians to respect the Naira, warns against mutilation ahead of the festive season. Audit uncovers fresh currency management breaches under ex-governor Emefiele, CBN. Foreign news, Israel kills displaced Palestinian man in ceasefire zone west of Yellow Line. Venezuela warns Nobel laureate Machado will be fugitive if she travels for Nobel Peace Prize. On sports, Osimhen tops UEFA Champions League player of the match rankings. Uche facing Crystal Palace exit as lack of minutes raises concerns. Now the news. The indigenous people of Biafra has called on Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court Abuja to clarify the legal provisions underpinning his recent ruling involving the group's leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in a statement signed by its spokesperson, Comrade Ima Powerful. IPOB said it intends to analyze and publicly highlight what it views as constitutional concerns arising from the judgment. IPOB stated that it will present its findings to both Nigerians and the international community. According to the organization, the court never tendered any weapons or items linked to violence, and no witness reportedly testified that Mazi Kanu committed any offense under Nigerian or international law. IPOB maintained these points were already clear from the courtroom proceedings. The group repeated its long-standing position that self-determination is a legitimate and globally recognized right. It referenced international charters that protect such advocacy, stressing that calls for a referendum should not be mistaken for criminal activity. IPOB further pointed to Section 36 of Section 12 of the 1999 Constitution, which states that no person can be convicted for an offense that is not defined in a written law. The group is now challenging Justice Omotosho to identify the exact written law relied upon in the ruling and confirm whether that law is still valid. The statement noted that IPOB will continue to examine the judgment line by line and raise what it describes as serious constitutional and procedural concerns. It insists that the case is bigger than the organization itself, saying it speaks to human rights, judicial transparency, and the rule of law in Nigeria. The group also restated its commitment to peaceful agitation. It said it will intensify diplomatic engagements with international bodies as it continues pushing its campaign through lawful channels. The Niger state government has confirmed the abduction of an unverified number of pupils and staff from St. Mary's School in Papiri area of Agwara local government, describing the incident as deeply distressing and avoidable. In a statement signed by the Secretary to the State Government, SSG Alhaji Abubakar Usman, the government said it was still awaiting a precise headcount of those abducted as security agencies continued their assessment. The SSG revealed that the attack occurred despite earlier intelligence pointing to an elevated threat level across parts of Niger North Senatorial District. He said the government had in response issued a security directive suspending all construction activities and ordering the temporary closure of all boarding schools in the zone. Alhaji Usman added that security agencies have launched full-scale investigation and search and rescue operation aimed at ensuring the safe return of the abducted pupils. The government also assured the public it remains in close communication with security formations and will provide updates as the situation unfolds. Authorities urge school proprietors, community leaders, and stakeholders to strictly adhere to security advisories, stressing that the protection of lives, especially those of children, remain the administration's top priority. Residents were further encouraged to remain calm and support security personnel with any useful information. The head of Department Disaster and Relief Agwara Local Government, Ahmed Abdullahi Rafia, confirmed the incident by telephone, noting that the number of abducted students and staff was still being verified. When contacted, the police command spokesperson SP Wasiu Abiodun said details would be provided later. The shocking development comes just days after 25 students were kidnapped in Maga, Kebbi State, intensifying concerns over worsening security around schools across the northern states. In Kwara State, a recent attack on a CAC church in Enugu left 3 worshippers dead and over 20 abducted, prompting the state government to shut down more than 50 schools on Thursday. The recurring attacks on educational institutions have heightened anxiety among parents and revived calls for strengthened community-based security measures across vulnerable communities. President Bola Tinubu has reiterated his administration's resolve to invest in the growth and well-being of Nigerian children, as nurturing the young population remains central to the Renewed Hope agenda. President Tinubu gave the assurance in Abuja at a public presentation of a book titled The Power of a Teenager, 50 Ways to Inspire Change by Honorable Bamidele Salam, a member of the House of Representatives. The book presentation was part of activists at the ongoing 2025 National Children Leadership Conference, organized by the Children of Africa Leadership and Values Development Initiative, CALDEV. Represented by his senior special assistant to the National Assembly, House of Rep, Dr. Ibrahim Olariwaju, President Tinubu commended Honorable Salam, the founder of CALDEV. For his dedication to youth development, he urged all attendees to make a personal commitment to shaping the minds of young Nigerians. He said that while Honorable Salam funded the CALDEV initiative personally, the greater task would be in mentoring and guiding the nation's youth. The president said that the impact of what Honorable Salam has done might not be very visible in the life of the children at the moment, but would clearly be seen in the future. Former President Goodluck Jonathan has cautioned that Nigeria's democratic system is being undermined by rising political recklessness, warning that the country cannot afford to allow its politics to become a platform for disorderly conduct. The former president stressed that governance only thrives when leaders demonstrate responsibility and when citizens and governments work in mutual cooperation. He delivered the message at a dinner in Abuja marking the 10th anniversary of the Goodluck Jonathan Foundation, which also served as a celebration of his 68th birthday. The event attracted African statesmen, diplomats, business leaders, and political figures, reflecting the influence the foundation has built over the past decade through diplomacy, governance reforms, peace building, and institutional strengthening. Mr. Jonathan, reflecting on the experiences that led to the establishment of the foundation, emphasized that political stability across the continent is being weakened by hostile rhetoric and confrontational behavior from political actors. He argued that sustaining functional democracies requires civility, accountability, and a commitment to national development rather than personal or partisan battles. He also expressed concern over the surge in violent attacks and abductions across Nigeria, urging public office holders to take their responsibilities more seriously, prioritize the protection of citizens, and reinforce democratic order. President Bola Tinubu, represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima, praised Mr. Jonathan's legacy, noting that his conduct after leaving office, particularly his readiness to put national interest above personal ambition, remains a turning point in Nigeria's democratic journey. Newly elected PDP National Chairman and former Minister of Special Duties, Mr. Taminu Toraki, commended the Foundation's contributions to mediation, conflict resolution, and democratic reforms, describing it as one of the most respected institutions of its kind in Africa. The Senate Ad Hoc Committee on Southeast and Northeast at the 2025 National Security Summit has assured residents of the Southeast of its commitment to restoring peace and strengthening security across the region. Committee Chairman Senator Austin Akobundu delivered the assurance during the Southeast Zonal session of the summit held in Enugu. The event themed Strengthening Nigeria's National Security Architecture, Innovation, Collaboration and Resilience in a Changing World brought together stakeholders from traditional and religious institutions, community leadership, security agencies, Ohaneze Ndibo, civil society and political representatives. Senator Akobundu said the National Assembly would continue supporting stronger collaboration among security agencies and ensure that resources required to stabilize the region are adequately appropriated and released. He acknowledged contributions of security operatives, traditional rulers, religious leaders, the media, and other stakeholders in efforts to curb insecurity, urging them to sustain their cooperation. He explained that the National Security Summit was initiated by the Senate to create a platform for Nigerians, especially those directly affected by insecurity, to contribute to a comprehensive and lasting solution to the country's security challenges. He also observed that the Monday sit-at-home order and the use of violence by some groups have dealt a serious blow to the region's economy and general well-being. Speaker of the Enugu State House of Assembly, Honorable Uche described the summit as a chance for stakeholders to jointly analyze the roots of insecurity in the region and build collective strategies for restoration of stability. He stressed that tackling insecurity requires sincerity, courage, and sustained collaboration among government communities, security agencies, traditional institutions, youth groups, and civil society organizations. This is Comfort TV. The channel will return shortly with business, foreign, and sports news. Many thanks for staying tuned. In the world of business, the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) has cautioned Nigerians against the abuse of Naira notes, describing the currency as an important national symbol that must be treated with respect. The reminder comes ahead of the festive season, a period often associated with the spraying, mutilating, and improper handling of currency during social events. The appeal was made in Oka during a CBN fair themed driving alternative payment channels as tools for financial inclusion, growth, and accelerated economic development. The event was part of the bank's effort to deepen public understanding of its policies and promote cashless alternatives. Acting Director of Corporate Communications at the CBN, Mrs. Hakama Sidi Ali, represented by Mr. Uche Tobias Nnamdi, urged the public to rely on verified communication from the bank and to preserve the integrity of the Naira by avoiding acts such as spraying, mishandling, hawking, or counterfeiting. She highlighted key reforms undertaken by the CBN governor over the past 2 years, noting that the initiative have contributed to moderating inflation and stabilizing the Naira. Still on business, the latest annual audit of the Office of the Auditor General of the Federation has uncovered new breaches in the Central Bank of Nigeria's currency management operations during the tenure of former Governor Godwin Emefiele. The report shows that the bank reissued 29.77 billion naira worth of already classified, counted, audited dirty banknotes in 2022, contravening the CBN's clean note policy. The irregular reissuances were traced to branches in Abuja, Lagos, Bauchi, and Jos between April and December 2022. Abuja alone released 28.615 billion naira of condemned notes within a 3-month window from October to December. Lagos issued 970 million naira in December. Bauchi released 30 million naira in April, while Jos supplied 50 million naira and 100 million naira in May. The clean note policy stipulates that only verified fit notes may be returned to circulation, while unfit notes must be withdrawn and destroyed. According to auditors, the violations weakened internal controls, expose the country to reputational risk, and reduces the lifespan of circulating currency. CBN branches offered differing explanations for the reissuances. Abuja cited cash shortages linked to the COVID-era disruptions. Lagos referenced the increased Christmas season demand. Jos pointed to military cash requirements during security operations, and Bauchi denied releasing any unfit note. Auditors rejected all explanations as inadequate and maintained that the breaches stand until corrected corrective actions are taken. The audit further uncovered delays in destroying currency already marked as unfit for circulation. It found that 997 boxes of 10 Naira notes valued at 99 Naira, 7 million, condemned since November 2021, were still in the vault as of October 2023. Another 695 boxes of 500 Naira notes, worth 3.475 billion Naira, processed between October and November 2022, were also awaiting destruction. In total, 3.57 billion Naira worth of condemned notes had accumulated due to delays in briquetting and disposal. Auditors warned that the backlog exposed the bank to risk of pilferage, loss of funds, and inefficiencies across its currency management operations. Meanwhile, the former CBN governor is currently facing several prosecutions brought by the EFCC and the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation, including fraud and procurement-related charges in Lagos and Abuja and multiple forex allocation cases before federal courts. The Audit Office has insisted that CBN officials must appear before the National Assembly to defend the breaches and present a plan for corrective measures. Foreign now, the Israeli army killed a displaced Palestinian man west of the Yellow Line in an area, Khan Yunis, that Israeli forces do not occupy. According to medical officials in Gaza, Nasser Hospital reported that the incident occurred in a location designated as safe for civilians under the current ceasefire. The Yellow Line marks the zone to which Israeli forces withdrew under the ceasefire agreement that took effect on October 10. It serves as a non-physical boundary dividing Gaza into two parts, south of Gaza City and north of Khan Yunis. At the same time, witnesses told Anadolu that Israeli forces carried out extensive demolitions overnight in areas east of the line, where Israeli troops remain present. The operations reportedly included heavy tank fire south of Khan Yunis. According to Gaza's health ministry, Israeli forces have repeatedly violated the ceasefire with the Palestinian resistance group Hamas, which began on October 10. Since October 11, the ministry says that 312 Palestinians have been killed and 760 others wounded in various incidents linked to the breaches. The broader conflict, which escalated in October 2023, has had devastating consequences for Gaza. Local authorities report that nearly 70,000 people have been killed and more than 170,800 injured since then, with widespread destructions across the territory. Moving on, Machado will be fugitive if she travels for Nobel Peace Prize. Venezuela's government has warned that opposition figure Maria Corina Machado will be treated as a fugitive if she travels to Norway next month to receive her Nobel Peace Prize. Attorney General Tarek William Saab told newsmen that Machado, who has been in hiding to avoid arrest, faces accusation of conspiracy, incitement, and terrorism. Ms. Machado was named the 2025 Nobel Peace Prize laureate in October for her campaign for a peaceful transition from authoritarian rule to democracy in Venezuela. She has long described President Nicolas Maduro's government as criminal and urged Venezuelans to unite behind democratic change. A long-standing leader of the opposition, Ms. Machado was barred from participating in last year's presidential election in which President Maduro secured a third term. The vote was widely dismissed internationally as neither free nor fair and triggered nationwide protest. Despite her ban, she rallied the opposition behind a little-known candidate, Mr. Edmundo Gonzalez, who emerged as the effective challenger. Parallel tallies from polling stations reportedly showed Mr. Gonzalez winning by a wide margin, but the government-controlled electoral authority declared President Maduro the victor. Mr. Gonzalez later fled to Spain amid concerns for his safety, and other opposition figures have since faced attempts at arrest. Announcing the Peace Prize in Oslo, the Nobel Committee described Ms. Machado as one of the most courageous civic leaders in Latin America. Committee Chairman Mr. Jorgen Watner Friednes said he hoped she could attend the 10 December ceremony, though he acknowledged her precarious security situation. Tensions between Caracas and Washington remain high. The Venezuelan government is also investigating Ms. Machado for what it claims is her support for a U.S. military operation in the Caribbean aimed at intercepting drug trafficking vessels. As political pressure intensifies, Ms. Machado has continued to urge members of the Venezuelan military to withdraw support from President Maduro. In a recent video statement promoting what she called a Freedom Manifesto, She outlined a vision for a post-Maduro Venezuela and said the country was on the threshold of a new era, grounded in fundamental rights. On sports, Super Eagles striker Victor Osimhen continues to dominate the European scene after climbing to the top of UEFA's Champions League phase rankings with 3 Player of the Match awards. The Galatasaray forward has been in sensational form this season, producing match-winning performances that have placed him above some of the biggest stars in the world football. Osimhen picked up his trio of awards in Galatasaray's crucial victories over Liverpool. His 6 goals so far also place him at the top of the Champions League scorers chart. He remains alone at the summit of the Player of the Match standings. A group of elite names follow closely behind with 2 awards each, including Manchester City's Phil Foden, Bayern Munich striker Harry Kane, Real Madrid forward Kylian Mbappe, Pafos defender Derek Lucasen, Liverpool captain Virgil van Dijk, Inter Milan's Marcus Thuram, and Paris Saint-Germain's fullback Nuno Mendes. Super Eagles midfielder Cristantus Uche may leave Crystal Palace at the end of the season as his struggle for regular playing time continues. Uche arrived in England after a breakout campaign in La Liga, where he impressed for Getafe following a move from Spanish third-tier side Ceuta. His performances under Jose Bordalas made him one of Getafe's standout players last season, contributing 4 goals and 7 assists in 38 appearances across all competitions. His versatility and consistency earned him interest from several clubs, including a strong link to Wolverhampton Wanderers. Financial difficulties eventually forced Getafe to sanction his departure, and the midfielder joined Crystal Palace on a season-long loan with a conditional obligation to buy clause. The move appeared promising, particularly after the departure of Eberechi Eze to Arsenal. However, Uche has been unable to establish himself under manager Oliver Glasner. The 22-year-old has played only 72 minutes across all competitions this season and has not featured in Palace's Conference League campaign, despite opportunities for squad rotation. Crystal Palace is set to review Uche's situation, though an early termination of his loan is expected to be difficult unless the club can negotiate revised terms with Getafe. And that's our news bulletin this morning. Before we go, a recap of our top stories. IPOB questions legal basis of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's ruling. Nigeria hit by second school abduction in less than a week. President Tinubu reaffirms commitment to child development. Former President Jonathan says Nigeria's democracy is being suffocated. Calls for responsible politics. Senate Security Committee pledges renewed action to restore peace in Southeast. On business, CBN urges Nigerians to respect Naira, warns against mutilation ahead of festive season. Foreign, Israel kills displaced Palestinian man in ceasefire zone. On sport, Osimhen tops UEFA Champions League Player of the Match rankings. Thanks for watching. For breaking news, exclusive interviews and more, follow us online at ComfortTV.channel on all platforms. Remember to like, share this video, subscribe to our channel and click on the notification bell so you don't miss out on future updates. My name is Faith Kevin. Until next time, stay informed, stay connected.